All right, great. We've got everyone on board. Everyone's hearing the audio, and I think we're ready to go. All right, welcome to the VoIP Drupal hands-on experience. This is a webinar to help you set up and configure the basic VoIP Drupal modules. Right, I'd like to thank everyone, all the Drupal users and developers who've taken time to contribute to this incredible project. Without your contributions, Drupal and VoIP Drupal would not be as wonderful as they are. So we have some requirements for this webinar because we're going to walk you through enabling the basic VoIP Drupal modules. And you should have Drupal 6 installed and running on a server that's accessible on the internet. You need administrative permissions to enable modules. You'll need server access to upload and install any modules. That's if you're going for the extra modules like click to call. We'll cover that a little bit later, just briefly look at it. You'll need a Tropo.com account. It's free. Even the phone numbers are free. And you'll need to have curl installed in your web host. Potential applications for VoIP Drupal are many. There's plentiful. As you know, VoIP Drupal is a platform, and that means many applications can be built on top of it, like call centers, audio tours, adventure games, emergency announcements, call blasts. And our goals for today are making a VoIP Drupal script interact with a phone. We're going to set up a Tropo account and create a web API. We're going to set up VoIP Drupal server configurations and the default call configuration. We're going to learn how to select scripts, voices, and languages. We're going to be editing a sample script, no programming needed. We'll take a peek at Visual VoIP Drupal just to inspire you, and then we'll call the VoIP Drupal phone number and join a conference. Right, so your basic server requirements. Our server is running the LAMP stack, which is Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Your host should have these basic services in place. You will need to have in place Drupal 6, as I said, installed, and on a web server that is reachable by people on the internet. Now your PHP curl, this is something that both Tropo and Twilio require. And it has to do with the next thing mentioned, which is clean URLs. So you'll check with your host if you don't have curl installed. It's not imperative that you have it right now, but it will make life easier for you when search engines are trying to find your site later. You'll also need an FTP account if you want to upload new modules and install them. So clean URLs, the test site for this webinar, where I hope you guys left an audio blog. It's configured for clean URLs, and this means, just quickly, that the slash, question mark, and equal sign are removed from your URL, so your dynamic pages are just showing up with a name that you've given them. If you don't have clean URLs, you'll have the question mark and the equal sign in there. This is a look at the VoIP Drupal modules. The ones in the bottom area, these are the core modules that we'll be working with today. We'll walk you through the installation and configuration. The modules up here at the top are very useful, and I suggest you install them all, look at them, play with them, enable them one at a time and look at them. You can basically do most commonplace tasks, conference calls and voicemail, assign extensions to users. It's fantastic. Required modules for today. We'll be using VoIP Drupal core module, and that's available at drupal.org, project VoIP Drupal. And that module contains sub-modules like VoIP Tropo, VoIP call, and VoIP script samples. These are the ones you'll be able to edit. In addition to the VoIP Drupal required modules, some examples we'll go through just quickly are going to use two other modules. These are basic modules that most Drupal sites have. I would say 95 to 98% of Drupal sites use views and CCK. You can also get them at the the Drupal.org site. Okay, so CCK has two useful modules in it. There's one called text that you'll need to enable, and the click-to-call field, which will allow you to add a click-to-call text field for any content types you create within Drupal. Views, there it is again at the Drupal.org project/views. VoIP Drupal, you'll need the script UI enabled. This will let you view the sample scripts and any scripts that you create. Also, here's the click-to-call module. If you're adventurous and want to get that, I suggest it. It's elegant. These are the VoIP Drupal modules in your list on your admin page. So if you navigate within your admin screens to the VoIP Drupal section, you'll notice these are all in an area called VoIP Drupal in the section of your admin modules page. You want to enable VoIP Call, VoIP Drupal Core, VoIP Script Samples, and VoIP Tropo. So at any time, if I'm going too fast or you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and we'll try to get it answered as quickly as possible. If you want me to slow down or speed up, let me know. Right, so if you do install the click-to-call module, this is just a quick look. It's in two different places. You'll have one, that field I told you about under CCK, click-to-call field, and you'll have a new section added called click-to-call. Enable all three modules because click-to-call works with blocks very nicely. What about those README files? Oh no, well, no one likes to look at those, do they? I can tell you, you can save a lot of time if you look at them. Let's just take a quick look at the VoIP Tropo module, readme.txt file. Now, VoIP Tropo module is a submodule of the Drupal core module, so you'll find it in a folder beneath your VoIP Drupal folder. And I suggest you look in all the submodule folders because they would each have an individual readme.txt file. Now, this is important because if I had just been looking through Drupal and thought, oh, VoIP Drupal, I'll download it and install it. If I did not read the README text files, I might not know an important thing. I need a Tropo account. What is that? Well, we'll find out today. There's little important things hidden in here about curl, the PHP extension I told you about for your system, and it gives you the actual command you need to run if you're running a Linux machine yourself. Very handy. How do things work? Well, things work in a back and forth way. Information is transferred back and forth between these systems. There's a phone user, there's a VoIP provider. We're using Tropo today. There's Drupal, your website, and the VoIP Drupal modules and other modules that VoIP Drupal works with. And then there's the web user. You can receive input from a user phone or from a web user using their iPad or whatever they use to connect with the internet. And they will connect with Drupal, which will connect with the API at your VoIP providers, and which will allow you interaction with all of their wonderful services, scripts, etc., that you can build upon for your own customized interaction. So let's go to Tropo. Set up an account at tropo.com. It's free. Just fill in your information. The worst part, of course, will be the CAPTCHA. After you get through that, your hurdles are all done. Everything's easy from here. And next, after you've set up your account, which I hope you did earlier, we're going to create a new application. So within Tropo account, under your applications, you will see a scripting. We don't really need that. We'll just set up a new Tropo web API. When you set it up, you can give your web API any name. And you will add the call handler URL. This you will find once again in that handy readme.txt file in the VoIP Drupal folder. And does anyone need a little time? Am I going too fast? Need a little time to set up your Tropo account? No, I see everyone is following along wonderfully. All right, so next, we're going to add a phone number in our Tropo account. You can choose a US or Canada local number or a worldwide number. They have many different regions that you can select from. Not everywhere is covered, but you can get a good idea of the areas that are. Also, in a future webinar, we'll look into using FreeSwitch as a VoIP service and Clevo, which will allow you access to many more areas that are not covered here by Tropo. Within your Tropo account, the web API application you've just created, you can give it any name. This will be a name that is mostly beneficial to you. So when you see you can create many applications. So when you see them in a list, this name will give you a clue as to what it works with. You'll need to put in the URLs that power the call app. These are within the VoIP Drupal module. So your URL would be that same thing, the VoIP/Tropo/call handler. You will use this as your SMS URL too for text messaging. And please note that Tropo's SMS configuration field only shows up after you choose a US number. Okay, so that would be that. If you're using unclean URLs, shame. No, it's okay. Your URL would look like this. Don't forget to put the question mark Q and an equal sign, or something will go crazy. Now you must launch your outbound tokens within your Tropo account. Here are your outbound tokens. They are listed. They're issued by Trovision. And you will click on each one. You'll get a pop-up window, and then you will select Launch the Token. Do that for both of them. And now you're wondering, where are the VoIP scripts? Well, there's a bunch of sample scripts. If you go to this URL of your site, you will see a list of scripts. If you're using unclean URLs, don't forget that Q and a question mark, and you will see a list of scripts here. Today we're going to enable the conference call script when we set up the call at the end, and you will need views to see these scripts to make sure they are visible. Here's what they look like. If you're on your site, you go to your VoIP/VoIP scripts folder, you will see all of the example scripts that come with VoIP Drupal listed there. They're wonderful. A lot of these can be used right out of the box without any. This is what a basic script would look like. If you were to have this script within your VoIP Drupal section, when someone called your phone number, they would hear the voice say, "Hello world." As simple as that. But then here's a more complex script. You've used an office hotline where you call up and they go, press 1 for sales, press 2 for customer support, etc. Well, when included, you may edit it to your own needs. Say you don't have sales, you have other things. You may edit the script. Right, so under the administration for VoIP Drupal, in your admin utility bar, click on Default Server Configuration. I'm using admin menu, so that is at the top of the screen for me, and I just choose Default Server Configuration. And once again, you're confronted with your numbers. These should be kept in a safe place. Do not give access to these to anyone because they're connected with your account information at Tropo. So make sure they're secure. You'll enter your Tropo username that you registered on there, password. On future visits to this page, you'll notice the password will become empty. Don't worry about it. As long as you do it once, they've got your password and you're all set. These are the default voices. You can choose one that will be enabled whenever you use any script. You can also choose voice to as selections when you are not using a default voice. You can select different voices for each script individually. When you use click to call, you will see within the block you'll be able to choose a voice for that instance of that script. Next, we'll go back to the admin menu and click on Default Call Configuration. Now with this, you can use a caller ID name, which you could choose any name. In most instances in the US, I guess this is ignored, so you don't really need it. You just put anything there. Caller ID number is the number that will show up on a user's phone when the Drupal system calls them. For text number, you could use the same number as the number you received from Tropo or your other VoIP provider. You could use the same number, or you could use a different number here if you want. This instance is going to be handled by one number. We have inbound call script name. This is set at the default inbound call script and the default outbound call script. When we're set up, you can call the number and hear what the default script is. It's wonderful. Tips, hints, and help. What do you do when something goes wrong? Well, hopefully nothing will go wrong, but when it does, it's a wonderful challenge to figure out some new things. So when you set up a phone number with Tropo, which we just did, it can take time for it to be propagated throughout the system, so be a little patient. I've never seen it take more than 10 minutes or so, but it could take time depending on how busy their system is. Number two, make sure that Tropo is selected as the default server, and that's in your default server configuration within the VoIP Drupal Administrative settings. We will see that shortly. Check your server's call log. Under the admin in the VoIP Drupal Administration, you have a link to the call log. Everything is recorded there and it'll give you lots of good information. I suggest you look at it many times after you've made a call. Go see what is there, what information is it keeping. This is all good information that developers can use when planning to create new customized applications for VoIP Drupal. Also, Tropo.com offers a real-time debugger, so you can see what's happening on their server when a call is initiated. Log into your account, and at the top right, you'll see the application debugger. And if you click on that and then call your VoIP Drupal phone number, you'll see exactly where that call is routed and what's happening, what steps it's going through. And check for typos in your inbound and outbound token issues by Tropo. It's best to copy and paste those things so there won't be any typos. But the things that could go wrong, you could hear a busy signal, call hang-ups, no answer, anything like that. Check these 5 things first. Okay. So now we're going to go to the default call configuration settings, and we're going to set up the conference call. So, and then we're going to call our number. And we'll go to your administrative settings. If I can that slide next. Oops, I'm sorry. Yes, we're going to go back to the page for the settings. And we're going to use the slide sorter, and we're going to We're looking for the configuration page. This is the default call configuration, and going back to one slide before that. Okay. And we're just going to take a minute. I want to show you this one slide where you're going to be setting the configurations. And I'm sorry, I believe I left that slide out, so that is not good. Going to have to make a note to put that slide back in. But when you're on the configuration page for your server, you're going to add that slide in right before this. You will choose Tropo as your default server. You should only have one other setting there, and that should be log. That's just for testing. So if we call the conference call number now, and
not showing the browser itself. Open Firefox.
Okay, we're going to just show in the browser. Okay. And we're going to show, this is the chat room where we answer questions and have Drupal chats. With Drupal chats, okay, so under the call configuration here, we're looking for the server configuration. We will go here, and this is where we make sure that the Tropo is set as our basic server, default server.
Server configuration.
Right. It's.
Let's load.
Yes. There is traffic on the internet here today. So my page is very slow loading here. Actually, this is my test site where I test out all kinds of things. Anything could be going on with it now, and then it goes up and down as I work on it. I like that. I like to work without any curtains. So when you come to this site, you might see things happening that you wouldn't normally see. So it's taking a little long to get there now. Oops, here it is. Here we are on the Tropo configuration, and you must set this so that it is the default right there. All right, so now we're going to go to, we're going to set up your conference call, which would be in your call configuration. And we're going to, this is the page where you select scripts. So we have our caller ID number, our name, and right here we're going to choose the conference call. VoIP script join conference. And we don't need to select it for the other ones, but this is just going to be an inbound call because you guys are going to be calling the number. And hopefully I didn't break anything last night, so it'll still work. All right, so we've got that, and we're going back to the webinar. We're going to test the system, and for the conference, I'll make that number 123 is the conference room number. So you could dial 617-981-4636. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. 36. hopefully.
Please type in the 3-digit number of the conference room you would like to join.
And I'm going to dial 123. I'm going to dial extension 123.
Type 23.
Oops. I mistyped and I typed 23.
To type it once again, press 2.
It gives me another chance to type it, which is really good.
Please type in the 3-digit number of the conference room you would like to join.
And I join 1, 2, 3.
You typed 123. To accept this number, press 1. To type it once again, press 2.
I'm going to accept
Hang up.
this number and press 1.
Joining conference room 123.
Hello, conference room 123. Yes, it works. Proof of concept. Hello. Hello, hello. We're testing the VoIP Drupal conference room, and it seems to work. It's working wonderfully. So we'd like to discuss the key benefits of the platform and just let you know what it does for people. As a platform, it facilitates the construction of unified communication systems. What does that mean? It means it integrates text, email, web, and voice all together. Makes it portable for you, too. It makes Drupal accessible from any phone. No data plan is required. It enables the expansion of community plumbing in the Drupal community beyond the web. It works with other Drupal modules like actions, triggers, rules, etc. It's open source and free. You are in control. For administrators, there's easy installation and configuration. You really don't need programming to enable a lot of functionality here. It's fully customizable, can enable only the features you need, and it runs as part of the Drupal system itself, as I was saying with the rules, actions, and triggers. For the benefits for developers, well, we can see there's a well-defined API that can be built upon. You can create other VoIP services with it. It's 20 sample scripts to start you off customizing, and there are 20+ modules that are already implemented, and they contain common functionality, like the conference call we just experienced. There's simple, powerful PHP scripting language in the dial plan scripting language. It's a very short learning curve. If you know PHP, you should have no problem at all. Right, we've got some other webinars coming up. We have VoIP Drupal for non-programmers, where we'll be showing all the things you can do without any programming at all. We're going to use some of those 20+ scripts and show you how they can be customized. We're going to show you how you can enable them in different parts of your site. So in webisode, yes, it's a webisode. That's for number 2. We're trying to figure out how to do this. If it would be better to break it up into several small webinars or do one great big one. I think it might take too long, a full day of what you can do with VoIP Drupal. So it'll probably be a series of a few webinars. And we'll cover walking through everything that you can do without any programming knowledge. These are a few of the modules we'll be setting up. Click to call, audio field, audio recorder, lets people post audio messages right on your website. Phone recorder, they can post them right on your website using their phone. The small office script, which we looked at, that was called press 1 fails to support. Let's take a quick peek at Click to Call. I'm really excited about this module. Click to Call, it has 2 admin screens, one for the general settings. Up here where you can set the number of blocks that you would like to enable for Click to Call functionality. You can have as many as you want. It starts with 2. Okay, and there's also a CCK field for click-to-call that you can enable, and you can enable this on any content type you create. So the second admin screen is for blocks. You'll set up a block, you can give it a title. You'll see that within the block you can choose scripts. The scripts that you create and the sample ones will all be available here in the drop-down list. So click-to-call will appear as blocks in the admin screen, and you can choose how many you'd like to enable. When you enable them, they appear on the page like this, a little click to connect. You can change this text and make it say whatever you want. I call our sales department. It appears just as a link. You click on it, people can put in their phone number there, and the system will call them. Episode 3, we're preparing a webinar on visual VoIP Drupal, which is a very exciting piece of VoIP Drupal where you're able to drag scripts and parts of scripts around in a workspace. You can create several scripts within one workspace, so you can be working on related scripts so that you can just easily see back and forth what they're doing. You basically drag the blue script block from the left into the main content area, which is your workspace, and you can use building blocks to create whatever you'd like. Now let's go create and edit a script using Visual VoIP Drupal in the sandbox. It's really exciting. So if you open a browser and go to voipdrupal.org, you can log in on the left using VoIP test as your username, VoIP test as your password. Once you've logged in, on the right, click on Create VoIP Scripts. All right, when you see the link to the VoIP script UI, you'll see a little script in the window that you may edit. It says your message here. Edit that text to say whatever you'd like. You can make a long message, a short message, save the script. On the right, click on Listen to your own VoIP scripts, and it'll pull up a little interface like I just showed you with the click-to-call, where you use the drop-down menu and choose the script that you just created. Hopefully you named it something unique so you'll see it quickly in the list. Fill in a title, select that script, and then save. And click on the title link that appears. Type in your phone number. You should be hearing your message being played now. This is the sandbox. Right over here is where you create a visual VoIP script. Let's go to the sandbox in reality. So here it is. We log in as VoIP test, VoIP test. And it's connecting, and you can see scripts right here that people have been playing with and working with. You will create a visual VoIP script. It will bring you right to the beautiful interface where you can drag things around. This is a little hello world script that's already here waiting for you. So you can see if we drag the script here, you can drag this to connect with the script, and it's all within the script there, the frame of the script. So with the drop down here, you can drag different parts of the scripts. We're going to get into this in depth in our future webinar. But for now, I just wanted you to see it and that you can come here to the sandbox and play with it at any time. And please make a bookmark of the sandbox. It's where new parts of VoIP Drupal show up to play with. And These are the things we accomplished today. We created and enabled an application in Tropo. We enabled the VoIP Drupal modules. We set up the VoIP Drupal server configurations. We found out we needed to add a new slide to show you the configuration screen. We selected scripts, voices, languages for messages. We edited a sample script in the sandbox. We did not do any programming. We took a peek at the visual VoIP Drupal to inspire you, and we visited the sandbox. We hope you make a space there for yourself and play often. These are the ways to get involved. Join groups.drupal.org, VoIP-Drupal. This is where the discussions around VoIP Drupal take place. Also, back to the sandbox. You can help by creating new modules, creating new sites using VoIP Drupal. You can contribute code and documentation, organize meetups in your area. Just basically help us spread the word using social media. Support works both ways in the Drupal community. If you give some, get some. Always look at the resource options. We're working on a monumental documentation project for VoIP Drupal. If you'd like to be involved, please come to the forums and come to the VoIP Drupal page and make it known. You can jump right and help us with some wonderful documentation we need. We have some upcoming VoIP Drupal events. Weekly, we have office hours every Wednesday at noon. We'll be answering questions and discussing VoIP Drupal related topics. You can meet us in the VoIP Drupal chat room, which you will find a link to it on the groups page. I'd like to thank you all for coming. My name is Nikki, and I'm a Drupal connection, connecting you to Drupal so Drupal can connect to you. I'd like to thank Leo Bird and the MIT Center for Civic Media. I'd like to also open the floor up for questions now. If anyone has questions or about the webinar or things they'd like us to cover in the future, we'd love to hear it. Thank you. Someone asked, is there any time to go over implementing SMS and text messages? Not right now, but yes, actually Leo could describe a little bit of that for you.
So the question that was posed by Dusty, see if you can show a little bit, just describe how VoIP Drupal handles SMS. So I'm going to go back to the browser here. Let me just get into this is Nikki's computer, so I'm setting myself in. But basically, everything in VoIP Drupal is handled by what we call VoIP script. So that whenever you make a phone call into the system, the system is going to activate a VoIP script that's going to answer your call, and then it's going to play out your messages, get inputs, etc. And it's the same thing with text messages, so that whenever you send a text message to your site is going to answer the text message with a VoIP script, and might send you another text message in response, or might call you, or do a query, and then perform different kinds of actions. But it's all based on VoIP scripts. The trick is how to tell VoIP Drupal which scripts to use whenever you get a text message, right? And to do that, we go into the VoIP Drupal area in the administration. We go to the default call configuration form. That's where we set up, we define like the caller ID associated with your calls. That's also where we tell the system which scripts to use for different events. If you're going down the page here, you see that here we find the script that Nikki has already shown during the webinar. This
Okay, I'm wondering if the microphone is still active. So it was, yes, okay. One of the questions I had about SMS is, how do I do that? Well, it's actually already enabled, and it just comes down to you choosing a script for it. It's like, it was a big mystery to me, but you just choose a script and do choose the inbound text script, any of them, for your they're marked with SMS. And you could choose anyone and just try texting to it. I would suggest you try it with the default one first, default SMS, and send a text. I just wanted to also show on the website, we've set up an audio blog, and that was one of the choices for the scripts. Audio blog, main menu, script. So when people are leaving a message, they can leave an audio blog in text or as an audio file. And we'll go back to and does anyone else have any questions, more questions while we're looking at this? I was just going to show you how I set up the audio blog, which is right here. And I just created a view. And for the view, I selected audio blog as the content type, and it lists them all nicely on the page. And I just made it say the same thing for each audio blog. Now you'll notice here there's links to the audio files, but these are the text messages that came in from the SMS. I just texted these messages and they showed up right on the audio blog page. Here is the click to call thing I showed during the webinar. When you open that, you just put in your number there, and the system will call you. There's a link to see all of the VoIP sample scripts that come with the system. And does anyone have any questions, or were there any parts that you think could be better explained? That we have not even looked at also. And we're getting a great idea of what is in there and how extensible it is to use it with your own site or create other applications on top of what. Is that it?
Any final questions?
Any final questions? Did anyone let us know if they got it up and running? Oh. Someone asked if we'll have a webinar in the future discussing how to create a module that interacts with VoIP Drupal. Yes, I'm sure we will. It's that's a subject I think a lot of people would be interested in. Okay, Ibrahim is asking if we've gotten the previous webinar video. The previous webinar video was not good enough to post because the screen resolution was not correct. So we will be posting this one. I've also got a little tutorial of the webinar that I made into a movie that I will try to get posted very soon. So hopefully this webinar will get posted in a day or so, next few days. Okay. Someone is getting a busy signal when they try it. Let's go back to the troubleshooting tips slide. Oh, let's see, where was that slide? We'll go to the sorter and we'll go to the troubleshooting tips because those can be very helpful. These are the when you're getting a busy signal, call hang-ups, or no answer. One other thing to check would be in your configuration to check that your Tropo username and password were correct when you submitted it. If none of this is helping, I would suggest you go to the tropo.com real-time debugger, see if the call is even getting to Tropo. That's number 4 on the tips slide. Right. Also, as I said, be aware that Tropo takes a little while to set up your phone number. If it's a very busy time for their system or any system in between you and them on the internet, things may take a little while. I would suggest if you do not get resolution on it within a few hours, if this is still going on, I would give them at least a few hours to set up the number. Then I would log into the office hours IRC chat room, and there should be someone in there that may be able to help you through troubleshooting. I'll try to be in there later this evening. If anyone wants to give any feedback on the webinar or constructive help things, anything else we should add to the webinar. I also suggest for the troubleshooting, if you're getting the busy signal, check your calling log. Did you go to yoursite.com/admin/VoIP/call/log? You'll be able to see a log of everything that's happened. Next to the item, you'll be able to click on a link and view the details of what went on in that call and where it was hung up. I would also try the regular Drupal tricks of clearing your cache. Yes. All right, so if you have further questions, you can connect in the chat room, the office hours chat room. It's the IRC chat. And I'll get a link to it up here on my site, but let's go back to the sandbox. I love this place. So that's not the link we gave out for the chat. You can use any window to chat, actually any IRC link. I'm using drupalchat.net, where I just type in #Drupal-VoIP, and I'm able to enter the chat room here. Here we are. And this one? And this? In the sandbox. And we've got the VoIP Drupal chat room. Yes. And I suggest we put links to this everywhere. So if you may log into the Drupal chat room with us, and we're happy to answer questions. Okay. Some tips and hints again. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I think we've got a lot accomplished. People let us know they got up and running, and it's a wonderful thing to know. We'll see you in the VoIP Drupal chat room, and look forward to seeing you at future webinars. Thank you.